Yo, what's good? Welcome to another episode of the Black Coffee Chronicles. I ain't got no cup with me today because it's a little later in the day and I'm really kind of cool on that caffeine. But what we want to talk about today is perfecting the push up. And a lot of you might not know that you think that you're not strong enough to do a push up, but what in reality is you actually just don't know how.
Welcome to Hit Squad. Mike got the skill set to maximize your strength of mind. We will with precise articulations of the spine. Accomplish all your goals. Invigorate your soul. Respect this practice. Come in pieces and you leave you whole.
See, there's a very specific technique that you have to follow, just like anything else that you do, in order to progress and actually make success. Is it the easiest? No, it's a little technical. Yeah, there's a whole lot of moving parts that have to really be able to work together in order to actually pull it off, right? So the first thing we want to talk about is hand placement, right? Your hand placement is important because it determines the direction of your arms, in particular the joints and the way they move, right? So one thing I like to say is if you put your hands out in front of you, your thumbs should extend and make a diamond, right? They come a little bit outside shoulder width and actually down, right? So your shoulders aren't up here. You want to make sure they're actually dropped really low and your thumbs come up to make a nice 90-degree triangle, right? Now that's one piece of the pie, but you also have to make sure the elbows go backwards, right? You want the elbows to go backwards away from your body somewhere around a 45-degree angle, okay? You don't want your elbows flared up really high like this, going straight out to the side. It's terrible for the shoulders. And although some of you might be able to actually pull off a nice looking push-up, let me take that back. Some of you might actually be able to pull off a push-up, but it's not proper. All right? It really wreaks havoc on the shoulders when you let the elbows flare out. It makes your wrists hurt. It's poor mobility for the shoulder joints. And honestly, you just can't get stronger because the muscles you're using, they just don't grow like that. All right? So when you got your hands placed in, thumbs are nice and dug in, elbows are going back at the 45-degree angle, and the shoulders are dropped, you got yourself a recipe, all right? Next thing I want to talk about is your head position. Now, you don't want your head to be ducked down really low, nor do you want to be looking extremely high into the sky, right? You want to have your posture set to a neutral position, looking slightly in front of your hands, and yeah, that's about it. Really got nothing else to say about the head because that's going to control the upper back or the upper part of your spine. All right, moving on to the next area, which is the core. Now, your core plays a vital role in just pure safety of the exercise and actual effectiveness of all the muscles that you should be working, right? So technically, you're like holding a moving plank, almost like an active plank, right? Where you want to have your core nice and cinched down. You want your chest to be the thing that drives the motion. So your chest goes down to the ground, not your stomach, not your hips, not your waist, not your legs. Those things don't touch the ground first or come closer to the ground than your chest does, all right? If it does, that means your center of gravity is a little back behind you and you're not fully engaging the chest muscles, right? So activate your abdominal muscles by cinching up the core, tightening everything up, and making yourself as stiff as a plank, right? Next comes the legs. You got two options. You can have your knees down or you can have your legs straight. Both of these versions are excellent. Now you'll hear people give these names like, you got the man version and the woman version of a push-up. Throw that shit out the window, you guys. When I train my clients, I don't call modified push-ups a girl push-up. That's dead. Who has enough pride to accept the fact that they're doing a girl push-up? Nobody. But there's many effective ways to do an excellent push-up that engages the chest in a tremendous way that are not going to be regular push-ups. All right, there are some push-ups from the knees that you can do, some push-ups with your knees elevated but are still sort of like in a kneeling position that are crazy, get you a crazy pump. All right, so a lot of you fellas out there are afraid to drop down and regress a little bit to the knees being on the floor. Don't let your pride get in the way of your success, because you'll never properly progress the push-up if you don't use the proper form that matches your skill set, strength, or capabilities. All right. So I'm going to show you a couple videos, different variations. Some of these exercises are excellent for making your body stronger when it comes to doing a push-up. So if you take all of those components, you got your hand placement proper, you got your elbow flare on point, you got your shoulders in position, you got your core nice and tight, and you've chosen the position of your legs, and that is where you stand. Next, we talk about progressing the strength. That's the technical aspect. But when you want to progress the strength, it's not only about the chest, it's not only about the tricep. Even though the tricep is the one that you're probably feeling the most stress from, you should feel a lot of that in your chest, but your shoulders play a specific factor as well. And what I mean by shoulders in particular is the serratus anterior muscle. Now that's the muscle, if you ever seen a bodybuilder lift his arm up and it looks like he's got an extra set of ribs, they call those boxer's abs. And that is the muscle designed to project your shoulder forward, all right? Without that motion, your shoulders dip in and you really don't feel that structure, stability, and support that you might be looking for. All right. So try this exercise out. I call them serratus pushes. And what these do is they train those internal shoulder muscles that control the scapula, right? These are the things that keep your spine intact, the core muscles of push-ups, if you will, right? A lot of you guys think the deltoid is the real shoulder muscle. Yes, aesthetically pleasing and they look dope when they get big, but they're not designed specifically for pushing exercises. But the anterior serratus is serratus anterior. I don't know how I said that backwards, but it don't matter. You already know what I'm trying to get at, and I ain't got no other words to simplify it other than just to say what it is, right? That's the muscle. Kind of feels like lats if you're in the back or if you know anything about that at all. Anyway, let's get back on track. Work on that serratus push, you guys. You can do it from a standard push-up position. You can do it from beast mode. You can do it from your knees. You can do this hanging upside down, whatever, right? Work that muscle that controls the scapula so you feel the full support that your body designs you to have, right? Next, I want you to work on your planks. Now, planks are important, especially if you're an individual doing push-ups from your knees, right? When you go down to the knees, it really takes away a lot of the necessary support from your core than a typical push-up would, right? So after you do your set of push-ups, you want to immediately follow that by a 30 to 45 second plank. So what that does is it takes the two components involved with the push-up and breaks them down into separate movements, all right? Get your upper body strong with the modified push-ups and then go right in to train the entire thing at once with a plank. You don't have to worry about those two separate strengths working together. Separate the two and then bring them together after they actually become strong and want to unite, right? These are my quick tips for the day. Get your push-up game strong. Practice a lot of these movements that you see in these videos. Follow, like, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, y'all. This is the first time I'm literally going to put a button right here for you to go ahead and subscribe. So next time, you guys, be fantastic on purpose, because I know you can. All you need to know is the information to apply, plan, and execute. Peace.